Metal Slug!
On Friday, we'll be unrolling arcane scrolls, brushing off our dogma, and pondering orbs, oof, both thaumaturgically and theological, as we unpack how magic prayers and manifestations work in the new edition. Damn, that sucks. Dude, we gotta wait until Friday to talk about the next... Top story tonight. Welcome back. We just got a double turn of news. Cast supreme sorceries. Enchant powerful prayers in new AOS. Gods and their aspects stride the battlefields in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, fighting alongside the very mortals who worship them. Which I think is cool. And a noticeable population don't think is cool. I'm not saying they're wrong. We just have a different opinion. No meme. While sorcerers tap into the thaumaturgical energy that permeates every realm to conjure magical manifestations that can run wild on the battlefield, bro, we're digging deep into the thesaurus on this one. Are you a thesauromancer? No, I practice dictionmancy. Of course, we have Lord Croak here. Tell me what the scouter says real quick. This guy in the lore or on the table? Kind of similar, but crazy pop. It's alive. It's back. Let's go. Dude, it's back. CG Busta, thanks for the tier 1 sub to Sieve the Thief. Actually sniped him. Got him. This isn't Lord Croak. He's in a, orrery. Ahem. Technically. This is a basic Forg. But, the robot is back for the funny chat memes. And so I'm gonna replay the ones that we missed. SG Arcade paid $69 for this. Nope, didn't work. Holy sh... Okay, so it's still broken on the back end. But that one just worked. Oh. Hey, SG Arcade, thanks for the money. Get fucked. Eat shit. For life. Also sorry. Anyway, Warbear, I guess, thanks for the 69. Lord Croak's body count plus 40k characters to shame. Along with the changes to commands and combat, the way that spells and prayers work in Age of Sigmar has undergone some significant tinkering, leading to more flexibility and opportunities for counterplay, casting and unbinding. Alright, this is going to be big. You're going to HR. HR answers the phone. It's me. Your call is important to us. No, hold on. Let me do that. I swear I can record that without laughing. Your call is... Fuck. Imagine how many takes it had to take them to record your call is important to us without laughing. From gibbering weird knob shamans caught in the violent grasps of the Wa to the luminous Archmage Texas. Mortals and gods alike can call on the very stuff of the realms. Oh, the stuff. To cast powerful spells. Alright, let's hear about them. Each spellcaster in the game is identified by the keyword wizard, which is followed by their power level. Dude, this is... I like this. It's stupid, but give me a power level, right? Just to compare. I think calling it power level is fun. A number in brackets determines the numbers of spells, unbinds, and banish abilities that they can use per phase. Okay. And you have to divvy it up between all these, I would imagine. So here with the keyword wizard too. Could cast a spell and banish one endless spell. Okay, yeah, you divvy them up between all these. Cool. Good. Nice. Ahem. Weird Nod Shaman. 6 health, 4 moves, 6 save. Oof. 2 control, though. Heroes have 2 control, confirmed. Well, some do. Ranged weapon, here he is. Here's the boy, the mad lad himself. Hero Wizard 1. Bum 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 wow. Infantry. Alright, power level 1. His ranged weapon is Green Pewick. Ugh. Range 10, 4 attacks, 2s and 4s, nil D3. Ability. Vomit in combat. Wastaff. 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 D3. Hey, we kept the wizard bonks. The famed wizard bonks that are 4s and 3s, rend 1, but do a D3. Alright. Brutal power. A Weird Knob Shaman channels the wild energy emitted by nearby orc mobs. Effect. Add 1 to this unit's power level. While there are any friendly Ironjaw units that have 10 or more models wholly within 12 of it. So 0 ever. Got it. But hey, maybe in the future there will be units of 10 for some reason in this army. It's, yeah, he used to have rules akin to this in the past. And certain spells got powered up in the past as well. The Great Green something or other. He's got Spirit Bomb energy. I think it's cool. Ard Boys are 10 mans, yeah. Hopefully they will be put on the table. Hold on. Under keywords, Destruction, Ironjaws, no War Clans keyword. Now, okay, I don't want you to get your little hopes up, but this is an indication. It's a clue. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting 2 different books and they're entirely separate and unique and respectable or anything, but it could be. If so. Ooh. Oh. Sorry, it doesn't usually happen like that. This is some hopium. That down here was more exciting to me than any of the rules that were just previewed on the entire War Scroll here. Cruel Boy's dedicated book? Now, it could just be that there's no Big Wa, right? There's no Soup faction, and all 3 of them just appear in one big book anyway. But, you know, a man can dream, right? Spell lores have changed in the new edition. Yeah, at the moment it's going to be indexes anyway, true. Spell lores have changed in the new edition and are selected as part of constructing your army. Pick a single spell lore and every sorcerer in your army can attempt to cast any of the spells from that lore. Okay. Okay, so you're not choosing... You have to pick a spell lore. You have to pick a single spell lore. And then all the wizards happen to know it. So you're not... I wonder, are you assigning spells to people? This means you no longer need to keep track of which specific weird mod... Yes. Ooh.
Please clap.
Big. Huge. Yeah, keeping... Who knows this specific one spell? Is it this one or that one? Yeah, you're choosing the lore, not the spell. Big. Yo, this is kind of nice. Nagash seething in the distance, yeah. Inventorious Rex, all 3. Oh.
Why are we
we still here?
I'm sorry.
Just to suffer?
I meant 2 orc armies. As of a year from now. 1,000 pardons. Anyway, good change, cool change. This is sick. Lore the Weird, Mighty Edbutt. Shaman Edbutts the air, projecting a wave of green energy that seeks out enemies to nut. Excuse me? Is this a Britbonger term that I am too America to understand? That's gotta be like the name for hitting someone over the head in like Britannia, right? I am seeking out enemies to nut. In the mortal realms, your spells nut. All right. Anyway, fucking funny meme. Nut 'em upside the noggin. Be a nutters. Big nut. Wizards are particularly vulnerable to this brutal front of WoW magic, dude. I know. Mighty head nut. 6 casting cost up here. Or not casting cost, target number. In the mind that they know the cultural dialect differences, they put it in anyway just to be cheeky. I bet they did. With the amount the people on their live streams say loads, I bet they did it on purpose. Hey, alright. Pick a friendly Ironjaw's wizard to cast a spell. Pick a visible enemy unit with an 18. 18's Dece. Dece range. Then make a casting roll 2d6. Inflict D3 mortal wounds. Oh, fuck. Mortal damage on the target. If the target is a wizard, inflict 3 instead. This spell sucks. This shit sucks. D3 mortal damage? Who gives a shit? All wizards take 3, whatever. Maybe this is a good spell in the future. Maybe spells are just way worse. Yeah, it's Arcane Bolt. I sleep. I hope spells aren't this lame. I mean, funny nut Cheerios over here in the descriptor text, but what a boring ass, weak ass spell. Yeah, I hope they're better than this. Maybe in new Age of Sigmar, D3 mortal damage is like, whoa, but it sure has never been in the past. Book sells Maldi. At least they're not asking you to pick it. You got, yeah, I mean, their changes up here are very nice. Very good. Age of Nutmar. No more than 1 friendly wizard can cast the same spell each turn. We're keeping that. Unless that spell has the new unlimited power. And even unlimited spells can't be repeatedly cast by the same wizard. Okay. Damn, dude. Sounds like a limit to me. Fucking got him. Am I right? Sounds like a limit to me. Casting rolls are still 2d6, and if a casting roll includes a double 1, the spell is miscast. Boo. Boo, I say. The caster takes D3 mortal damage and can cast no more spells in that phase. Boo. Don't like it. You've changed so much to streamline the game, and you keep this random ass fucking rule that hardly ever matters in, but then when it does, it sucks anyway. I don't care that much. Yeah, I need Lionel Hutz to come in here and put a comma in between it and a little like line next to the N. Actually, that's comma limited, as in it is limited. Reaction. Opponent declared a spell ability. And they've already rolled to unbind. Here we go. We got reactions. No, comma. Money down! Exclamation point. Wizard saps the energy from an enemy's spell, nullifying its effects. Used by a friendly wizard within 30 inches of the enemy wizard casting the spell. No visibility required here. Effect. Make an unbinding roll of 2d6. If the roll exceeds the casting roll for the spell, then the spell is unbound and its effect is not resolved. This reaction cannot be used more than once per casting roll. Yeah, well, figures. Okay. That makes sense. You got good timing with it. We're using magic. In response. Mana drain. Oh, in response to mana drain, I'm gonna Fierce Guardianship. Okay, in response to Fierce Guardianship, I'm gonna exile a blue card. We're going to misdirect that Fierce Guardianship onto misdirection. Okay, in response, we're gonna Flusterstorm that. Although actually none of that, because you can't use it more than once per casting roll. So there won't be unbinding unbinds. We're not full magic here. Overload, Counterflux. Mindbreak Trap. I'm not technically countering them. I'm exiling, so I'm going to choose all those. Ahem. Cool. Counterflux, people play that? No, but if anybody would, a commander player might, you know? Unbinding is an important part of spellcasting counterplay. True, and the magical intervention, letting canny casters crack off spells in their opponent's hero phase, the unbind reaction ability, is vital. True. So, hold on. Let's think about this from playing the game standpoint. You have a triple caster wizard. It's your turn. Your opponent has some wizards too. Active player finishes all their stuff, then non-active player does their abilities. You cast 2 spells, so you have 1 more spell left to cast yet. But, because it's your turn. But all the casting unbinding, that's shared. So now you have to make a decision whether you want to cast your 3rd spell, or say that you're done, so that you still have 1 spell action to unbind in case your opponent casts the spell on your turn. And so if you say you're done, leaving up 1 spell action because you want to maybe unbind something they cast, they could just not, and you've wasted a spell use. Or they could do it, and then now you have an unbinding opportunity. Looks like there's a little bit of gamesmanship here. Call the bluff, a little metagame, a little skill expression, a little play literacy, a little possibility space. Oh, chill, all right. Too many fake mechanics words. Anyway, kind of interesting. We're kind of gaming now. I wonder if spells in general will no longer last until your next hero phase, because now you have the opportunity of casting spells on the opponent's turn. I wonder if the default spell, like a buff or a debuff, no longer lasts until your next hero phase. You know? I bet they still probably do, because spells lasting until the beginning of your next hero phase was one of the things that made double turns not quite as good, you know? You could fully turtle up, and you have all your defenses rolling, so if they got a double, you're still like, okay, at least I have my 3 buff spells up still for the things. They'll probably keep that just because of that, I bet. Heywoah, no fun. You believe you have a power level number of spells per phase? Yes, correct. But your power level is a shared pool that you may use on spells, unbinds, and banishes, right? So if you're a wizard too, you can cast 2 spells, but then you can't unbind. So if you cast your 2 spells, and then your opponent spends a command point and casts a spell on your turn, you can't unbind it. You see what I'm getting at with my previous example? And so sometimes maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to cast 1 spell and leave it up, because my opponent might cast, and if he does, it ruins me, and so I need to, like, wait to unbind it. but you're the active player. So if you say you're done, then you're done, and your opponent can call the bluff and be like, oh, then I won't. You just wasted a spell. Eat shit, you know? Anyway, I wonder how that's going to work out. A little gamesmanship. Your PowerPoints reset every battle round. I thought it was a phase. Yeah, per phase. Your power level is the number of spells, unbinds, and or banishes that you can use per phase. So it's per phase. I'm talking about if they use the one command ability that allows you to cast a spell on your opponent's turn. Like the fact that they could do that, now there's some mind games with it. Is there a cheap enough wizard to sit there just as a no fun allowed unbinding machine? Only as that? Probably not. But I bet there's units that are halfway decent, plus also you can be an unbinder, or, you know. People have been taking 100-point wizards because it's just good to have a 100-point wizard or two for the entire history of the game, and I'm sure that'll continue. If your spells are all just do D3 damage, everyone will be waiting around to unbind. It depends. I'm a lot less concerned about D3 mortal wounds. Fuck. God damn it. D3 mortal damage. It's not mortal wounds anymore. Anyway, if you have a spell that does D3 mortal damage, I guess I don't care. It's the spells that are like teleport across the table, or Hand of Dust, or something like that, or a spell that gives an opponent a 5-up ward for until their next hero phase. Like, eesh, all right, we gotta unbind those. With enough wizards and only a select pool of spells you may want to cast, you have a feeling you'll easily be able to save room for emergency unbinds? Perhaps. Is this Katawa Shoujo music? First of all, excellent taste, sir. But what's that? I've never heard of it. But yeah, it's like a 1-hour loop with a school song. You definitely want to see your opinions on how player chanting, roll, and ritual points work? We're getting to it. Hey, we'll get a buzzer sound for when you say wound. What do I do?
The windup in his first offering, just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Just a bit outside. Unbinding is an important part of spellcasting counterplay. Yeah. As an exception to the usual restrictions on abilities, a wizard can attempt to use the unbind reaction multiple times per phase based on their power level, but only once per casting roll. Yeah. Damn, this has got to be the worst new corn model I've seen in a while. I forgot about this one. The gods have cast their divine light on the prayers in the new edition, which are now more powerful than ever and very different from spells in some key ways. As with your spellcasters and sorcerers, your priests are marked out by a keyword with an associated power level and may use a combination of prayer and banish abilities each phase up to that number. So we have power level 2, all right. Priest, power level 1. Slaughter Priest, I don't know, man. I think the Slaughter Priest is he feels better than a power level 1. He's fucking huge. Also, they chose the inferior of the two models to show here. In my humble opinion. I don't know about any. Like, he looks cool, don't get me wrong. He looks cool. It's just the other one looks cooler. That's all. 5 up save, 5 moves, 6 health, 2 control. 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1, 2, because everybody Even your priests in Khorne can fight. Actually, your priests in Khorne are particularly good at fighting, as a matter of fact. Oh, we don't see the actual chanting rules? Oh. I was hoping we would see them. Once per turn, army-wide, your hero phase. Passive. This unit can use Unbind abilities as if it had Wizard 1. Cool. Alright. I imagine a lot of people get Scorn of Sorcery in Khorne. Sure. Hydroside, thanks for the first time chat. Hey man, I found you from the YouTubes. Like your silly video about the different armies. You're wondering, as somebody looking to join AOS, what armies you'd suggest from a Custodes 40k player. Somebody asked about this a long time ago. What was our answer for the Custode enjoyers? Was it OBR, I think? If we're just talking playstyle. Really elite Stormcast, Oziarch Bone Reapers, possibly, I mean, maybe a Chosen-centric Slaves to Darkness army, but as a third place to those first two, yeah. If you're just talking playstyle, I think, yeah, Oziarch Bone Reapers, maybe Stormcast. Those are the top two for me, I think. The other stuff is just like random elite people, which it's more than just being elite. And like Mega Gargants is different. That's like Sons of Behemoth is more like a Knights army. A melee Knights army, I guess. You could say. Ogres? I don't quite think ogres. I mean, it's another elite army, sure. Yeah, that being said, that is true. 4th edition is like 2 months away. So if you're thinking about buying something, chill. In 2 months, it's a new edition and they're rewriting every war scroll in the game. Like, everything's changing. So I always advise to first of all try before you buy, especially on like TTS or something. And then second of all, if you're right on the cusp of a whole bunch changing, don't just buy stuff, because who knows what's going to happen, right? 4th edition, oops, all Kroxigors. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Anyway, let's finally get to this Khorne War Scroll. Don't worry about it. Once per turn army, your hero phase. Blood Sacrifice. Pick a friendly unit with this unit within this unit's combat range to be the target. D3 on a 2-up. So that's kind of like rolling a D6. Inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. Oh, cool. We're doing another one of these. I like this stuff. This is cool. Instead of rolling 2 dice, instead of rolling a die to roll a die, it's just roll once, it does that much, or it fails. Easy, right? And then you gain a blood tithe point. Yeah, this is not a prayer. We don't see an answer value up here, which is, I imagine, how prayers will work. Which is the thing to do. Hey, remember back in the olden days where a blood sacrifice was a prayer and you could chant the same prayer more than once? And so you'd do it like 4 or 5 times every turn on a unit that had 2 or 3 stacked wards, so it wouldn't take any damage anyway. Oh, dude. Khorne Pops was a fun combo deck. Anyway, you are a Priest 1. What keywords did we keep? Chaos, Blades of Khorne, Bloodbound, and Gore Chosen. Gore Chosen, I think, hero type kind of thing. Alright, sick. Nothing else, though. No crits. No crit abilities. Bloodbound is Mortal Khorne, and Gore Chosen are the Bloodbound heroes. Okay, that's what I kind of thought. That's why you're surprised they're revealing so much already. We have a ton of rules, and the new edition is still months away. I mean, supposedly they really went kind of ground up and redid everything, so we're going to have plenty of stuff to see. I would imagine that one entire week or two, maybe, will be dedicated to Skaven. So there's maybe a quarter, maybe a half a month of Skaven stuff leading up to it, probably. They could start showing indexes. They could start showing, oh, here's this army's rule, here's that. How does every army change in the new edition? We'll go over the battle traits, 2 of them. And they could do that for every army, and that's like, you could have so many articles off of that. I think we'll have a pretty good preview season, I would hope. Ilbeard says the OBR plays closest to melee-centric Custodes, although the cavalry aren't as good as the bikes. Yeah, I would say that. Custode Enjoyer is whatever will make them complain every time a single model is killed. Hey. When you don't have a lot, I mean, I play Beastclaw Raiders. I got like 7 models on the table. When you kill one, it sucks. Like spellcasters, you pick one specific prayer lore when building your army, but there the similarities end. Oh, really? Instead of making a single dramatic casting roll, these combative clergy beseech their deities, who may even be on the battlefield with them at the same time, through chanting. Every prayer will ask you to roll a d6 chanting roll, and on a roll of 2 up, your priest gains that many ritual points, which accumulate over multiple turns. Oh. Okay, this is very flavorful and bad. Well, no, it's not bad. I mean, it is. Because in a vacuum, you want an ability to be able to immediately work. The sooner the better. If you have to wait, the longer you have to wait, the more chance your priest gets randomly killed and it was all for nothing, right? But that's just in a vacuum. It's a little bit of bookkeeping for everybody with ritual points. But it is very thematic, you know, you're chanting this prayer, you're accumulating stuff. You wanted to differentiate it from magic somehow, because it was too close to magic. It was just magic it couldn't unbind, basically. After it got, I mean, it was pretty different in 2nd edition, but they changed all the ways that it was different. And then gave some of them back. Yeah, priest spirit bombs. Each prayer has a chanting value that you'll need to match before it will be answered, and may include a higher value that can power up. Oh, altered beast? For example, a slaughter priest can choose to unleash the Witchbane curse to weaken an enemy wizard once they've gathered 4 ritual points, or hold out for a chanting value of 8 to also deal 3 mortal damage to the target. Okay. Yeah, power up. So this is like thematically extremely cool. I wonder how it'll end up playing out. Usually things you have to wait for are not valued particularly highly in the game because you could just kill the thing in the interim and then nothing has happened, but simply kill the guy, but you can't, is very common as well, right? I'm gonna have to hold off on this until we get to, like, play. But I will grant that it is a very nice, it's a comforting thematic difference between prayer and spell. And there did need to be more of a difference between prayer and spell, I think. Wait a whole extra turn for D3 mortal damage. Yeah, that's... I mean, it's 3, not D3, but... Look. For as long as Age of Sigmar has been around, whoever the fuck is writing Games Workshop rules seems to think that D3 mortal wounds was a big fucking deal, and it just never has been. It simply has never been a big deal. But the way they wrote rules in first edition and second edition and even third edition, it's like they think that that's a big deal. I don't know if they think we think it is, but we don't. Now, maybe in fourth edition, D3 mortal damage is suddenly a big deal because things have changed. So maybe that's true. Maybe that's the case. Anyway, let me read on. Blood Blessing of Khorne. 4. Here we have a big old square. It doesn't have the little runes around it, so you know it's not magic. It's very different. Okay. A blood hex is placed upon a craven wizard of the enemy, sapping their willpower. Pick a friendly Blades of Khorne priest to chant this prayer. Pick a visible enemy wizard within 18, and then make a chanting roll. Effect. Subtract 1 from the target's power level to a minimum of 0 until the end of your next turn. In addition, if the chanting roll was 8+, inflict 3 mortal damage on the target. Okay. So this is like pre-unbinding auto kind of works. You need a 4-up though. And then you also have unbinds as well. Damn, I don't know, man. This just seems like building up your rituals comes with a risk, and the gods of the Age of Sigmar can be extremely petty, so a chanting roll of 1 will lose your priest D3 ritual points. Bro, it already came with a risk. The risk is your shit dies in between building up the points and using them. So it's already a risk. What do you mean? Yeesh. Ugh. Note that prayers can't be unbound, so astute commanders will have to target enemy prophets while they're busy amassing ritual points for swift execution. Yeah, just kill them, lol. So what I read in this thing clashes with what I read in this thing a little bit. This shit is talking about like, okay, every prayer will ask you to roll a d6 chanting roll. And on a roll of 2 up, your priest gains that many ritual points, which accumulate. Every prayer has a chanting value that you'll need to match before it will be answered. And many include a higher value that can power up, for example, blah. Okay, so what are we exactly doing here on the table? I declare I'm going to curse this wizard within 18. As part of my declare, I make a chanting roll of d6. I rolled a 3. Because I rolled a 3, that's higher than a 2. So I have now 3 ritual points. And these apparently accumulate over multiple turns. Each prayer has a chanting value, which is 4. So I have failed this prayer, but I've still accumulated 3 ritual points, which accumulate over multiple turns. And many include a higher value that can power up to the resulting miracle even further. Okay. So we can choose to unleash this. Interesting word, unleash. Effect. Subtract 1 from the target's power level to a minimum of 0 until the end of your next turn. In addition, the chanting roll was 8 up. Inflict 3 mortal damage to the target. So I just keep 3 ritual points, right? I'm just tracking those. I try to Witchbane Curse, I fail, but I still have 3, and so I just keep them. How does that work with declare an effect, though? You know? My question is... So that makes sense. And then next turn I Witchbane Curse again, and I roll a 6, right? So now I have 9 ritual power, which is higher than 4, and it's higher than 8 up. And so I do 3 mortal damage on the target. Now I have a few questions about this. The chanting roll was 8 up, but is it spent? You know? Is this the cost? Let's see. once they've gathered 4 or more ritual points, or hold out for a chanting value of 8. Okay. You would think these are spent, but maybe not. They're probably spent. Does it spend all of them each time, or just how many use it? Because this isn't, if the chanting roll is 8 up, inflict 3 mortal damage on the target. Does it cost 8 now? Or does it still cost 4, it just cares about the roll? Now here's another question. Let's say I have 2 ritual points. In this turn, I chant for this, and I roll a 2, which means I have 4, which is enough. Do I have to produce the effect now? Because it doesn't say you can. It probably does in the prayer section of the core rules. What if you want to wait out for the 8 up? It says you can up here, but it says a lot of things up there. Surely it spends them, but if it spends them, then these are just the worst spells you've ever seen in your whole life, right? Imagine your wizard does nothing for an entire battle round, right? Like, you pray, nothing happens, you pray, nothing happens, you pray, nothing happens, and then you subtract 1 from target's power level and deal 3 mortal damage. That's the worst spell you could possibly imagine, right? That could be 3 other spells. But instead it was nothing, nothing, and then this shit. Right? So damn, I don't know. I mean, having your priests do literal nothing and then having an effect be this awful after a year, after they're like chanting and nothing happens, chanting, nothing happens, and then it almost seems like you don't have to spend your points, because if you did, it would be so terrible, right? I mean, it seems to imply up here that you can hold out for a chanting value of 8 up. So somewhere in here there must be an option not to produce the effect. I can only assume because of this text up here. Maybe your ritual power is just, it's kind of like the Wa energy in orcs. It's just this aura of godly power, like a, like the Daughters of Cain table that gives you more bonuses the longer it goes on. You just have this whirlwind of divine might on your side of the table. And eventually it's 8, 16, 24. But no, then you just auto-succeeded all your mid-game prayers. And that doesn't make any sense either. They have to cost points. Surely you spend these things. Otherwise you auto-succeeded all prayers for the second half of the game, and they're all powered up. Maybe that's worth it, because you did nothing early on. You did nothing early on by just, like, charging your laser, essentially. Yeah, until the end of your next turn is, I think, maybe longer than any effect we've seen, Phantom 39. I mean, there's a few, like, for the whole game effects. But, yeah. That is a long time. You think ritual points stack up per priest, not per prayer? Ooh, okay. Let's read. Your priest gains that many ritual points. It doesn't say your army does. It doesn't say you do. It says that particular priest gains that many ritual points. That's a good note up here. It doesn't say your priest grants you that many or accumulates. It's all right. In theory, you can choose to stock the chanting roll instead of casting. If you do, you must add all save points to the next cast. I think that's how it works too. But the problem with that is, that's horrible. Like, that's so fucking bad. Right? Think about let's choose a hero. This hero has an ability, and that ability just does something. That's good. Now, here's a hero that has an ability, doesn't cost anything. Just like roll a die on a 3-up, do something good. That's good, probably. And here's a hero. You can spend a command point to do something really good. That's good. Maybe the cost is too high for you, but it's potentially good. Now here's a wizard. Turn 1, I cast a spell. It works. Okay. Turn 2, I cast a spell. It works. Okay. Now your opponent can stop you from doing it, but in general, you can cast a spell, it works. Now here's a priest. I pray. Okay, I've accumulated some points and nothing happens. Next turn. I pray. I've accumulated some points and I got higher than 4 now, so the effect happens. Is the effect worth 2 entire turns of casting? Fuck no. So that's my concern here. I don't know how this whole system is working. Obviously, we're missing some information. But as I read this, storing points to do... I don't know. I guess just roll hot, though. Because, well, alright, think about it this way. In a new light, it's not, skip your turn so next turn you do double damage. It's not that, right? It's, if you fail your roll, you still get something. What do you get as a wizard if you fail your roll? Nothing. What do you get as a priest if you fail your roll? You go, kid, you know? So maybe think about it like that. Don't think about it, your entire turn in Dungeons & Dragons is just chanting and nothing happens. And the next combat round, you're still chanting and it's a full round action and then you cast a spell. And it's like no better than a normal fireball that took 1 action. So why, you know, maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. The right way is just roll high and it works like magic. And if it doesn't work, you at least get some points out of the deal. Whereas the wizard got nothing, right? Oh yeah, 1,000% chance that Skaven has a 13 prayer. No question. Prayers can't be negated by the opponent. This seems to be true. Prayers can't be unbound, it says right here. Also, if you roll a 1, you lose D3 ritual points. God damn. Imagine. You pray, you store the points. Next turn you roll a 1, you lose the points. You've done nothing for 2 battle rounds. Oh no. Anyway, I just need more information. That's it. I can see how I think it probably works. And I mostly agree with Frank on this. You can probably choose not to do the effect. It is per priest, which is it's annoying little bookkeeping to put next to all your little priests. You can charge them up, and there's like a way to think about them so that they seem terrible, and there's a way to think about them so that they seem okay. Anyway, hey, all right. What factions do you run nowadays? Beast Claw Raiders. 7 years. Driving monster trucks around, making charge rolls, trampling, charging people. It's still fun. I still just play Beast Claw Ogres. Having a blast. Can't wait to see their rules in 4th edition. Between failed casts and successfully unbinds, you've had single wizards do nothing for 2 battle rounds many times. Yeah, exception. So that's like the other half of the coin. You could think about it in the bad way, which is I'm wasting all these turns to get a big effect, and the big effect isn't very good, so this sucks. Or you could think about it, well, if you're going to fail rolls, as a priest you get something. But if you're going to fail rolls as a wizard, you get literally nothing, right? So, you know, depending on how you think about it, you could maybe like it or maybe not like it. And yeah, the other thing is that you need a target to use it. So the buff ones are just like actual spirit bombs. Much like spell points with Tzeentch back in the day. Yeah, astute commanders will have to target enemy prophets while they're busy amassing ritual points for swift execution. I don't know, man. Yeah, keep nerfing all my sniping. You keep telling me to kill commanders, but then you keep changing the rules so they can't target them. Well, which is it? Anyway, I need some more stream-safe music. I gotta remind myself to do that. And another walk. Things to do in between day job. Yeah, nice snake. Thing's actually kind of good. I remember when this came out, and we're like, this shit sucks. Oh wait, it can devour a foot hero and block lanes. Never mind, it's actually kind of good. Strong hat choice, Altered Beast. Let's go. Endless spells and invocations are still in the mix, but instead of spending points to add endless spells when constructing an army,
Please clap.
that was the problem with them, yes. That was the mistake in designing them, was having them cost points when constructing an army. That was your design mistake with them. That never really made them take off for the most part. You can pick a manifestation lore. Oh, fun. Okay. Alright. This grants access to a selection of endless spells and invocations that you will be able to summon in battle. Big. For free? For free? Some factions will have their own manifestations, while the current endless spells from Malign, Sorcery, and Forbidden Power are divided into thematic lores. Yeah. You'll find the infamous and ghastly Purple Sun, which was good for a while, and now it sucks, in the Morbid Conjuration manifestation lore. Morbid Conjuration. Good name. For instance, alongside Suffocating Gravetide, Malevolent Maelstrom, and Soul Snare Shackles. Not free, you lose your magic school, do you? I think you could infer that, but I'm not sure if it's a certainty. I don't know if that's true. I kind of hope it's not. I guess it has to cost you something to have access to endless spells, right? In some way. I mean, you probably just choose it over your spell lore, right? You would, I guess, or maybe you get it somehow, or you can acquire it instead of an artifact choice. I don't know. Surely there has to be some sort of opportunity cost for it. Kind of hope it's not too steep. So they're siloing off endless spells into mutually exclusive buckets to balance the combos, which you think is a neat move. It means that if you have a shit lore for your army, you're not, like, screwed potentially, I suppose. I wonder how you can get more. Can we get more spell lores? If we can get more spell lores somehow through a choice somewhere, particularly for the magical armies, I bet, you know, you could imagine you are Tzeentch, battle traits. You may pick up to 3 spell lores for this army, or whatever the fuck, right? Like, pretty easy to write into for the more magical armies. You always wondered what's the general consensus on creating your own endless spell models? Very common and cool. I see custom endless spell models all the time at Age of Sigmar tournaments, at least in the Midwest. We like hobby in our part of the woods. So, yeah. Generally encouraged and celebrated when they do. As long as it's on the same base size, that's it. in general, like the proxy, it's not even proxy really. I consider it to be customizing your army. It's a little cringe when it's clearly just, I didn't want to buy this, so I'm spending literal 0 effort, and I glued a number 2 pencil to a base. This is a purple sun. Like, you know, I mean, come on. But nobody, I don't think people are really talking about stuff like that. Some factions of their manifestations, well, the current, yeah, I already read that. Wizards and priests both can attempt to use use banish manifestation ability to expunge these autonomous arcane forms. Autonomous. There are ways to interact with these conjurations, which we'll cover in more detail next week. All right. Hey, keep my news segments big. Banish manifestation in your hero phase. Pick a friendly wizard or priest to use this ability. Pick a manifestation within 30 of them to be the target, and then make a banishment roll of 2d6. If the banishment roll equals or exceeds the banishment value, it is banished. You cannot pick the same manifestation as target of this ability more than once. Okay, cool. Big change. Actually, everybody gets to get rid of endless spells. But getting rid of the priest ones was kind of tricky. Looks like at long last, it's just like they're the same. At least for how you deal with them. Begone. Yeah, begone Thatium. They're using the element. Wait, my wizard can send Hexgorger skulls away? Frank, no. Yeah, Korn is mad about that one. In general, I think this is good, but specifically Hexgorger skulls, maybe, in the anti-magic army. Can you just fuck them, you know? I don't know. We'll see. We'll be revealing another new mini tour on Monday and learning more about battle plans. This one is going to be huge. This is, like, the battle plan one is going to be the boring show that no one cares about, but is secretly going to affect the game maybe the most. And the General's Handbook, same. And the battle tactics of the new edition. Yeah, these 3 things. Battle plans, General's Handbook, and battle tactics will be so important to how the game functions. And it's like the least exciting thing to read about and hear about. I don't care. I mean, I do care because these are the things that you're going to be yoked with during the upcoming edition, but it's not like the exciting thing, you know. If you try to banish Hexgorgers and you roll an 8, the wizard just dies. True. Give me Kool-Aid Man, monsters through the walls. Yes. Let monsters trample over terrain, please. It seems like I am getting some cool stuff. Now, I know I'm saying that in the wizard and priest section of the book, and we don't really do either of those things in Beast Claw, but we're meant to do the priest ones. So, Hopium is on the rise. Big. The bean counting is always the most important and boringest thing in war, so it's true in life. Yeah, I mean, true to life, true to form. Use them, they'll show us the new Stormcast on the Demigryph, since they seem to be specifically avoiding showing any Skaven besides the Clan Rat. Yeah, to me, I think their plan is to do like a Skaven week, or a Skaven 2 weeks leading up to it. Allow endless spells the right to vote. 1 man, 1 endless vote. Okay. Refresh my memory. We have learned exactly 0 bad news, rules-wise, so far. Supreme sorceries and enchant stuff. I'm not 100% on how the prayers are exactly going to work, and if it's going to be worth it. They showed us a prayer that did not look particularly exciting, but maybe it is. Aside from like a lack of info, this is once again another week where we basically received, for all intents and purposes, no bad news and only good news that I'm kind of excited for, you know? Stay winning, I guess. -1 to cast and then a free unbind. Yeah, so the part that I think is annoying is I don't know how the charging up to 8 thing is going to work. 3 mortal wounds for slurping all of your ritual power out. I'm not sure about that. But in the anti-magic army, imagine your opponent has a wizard 1 and you just pray and point at him. That's essentially, okay, it's not automatic because you're rolling to pray. That's an auto unbind in the future though if it works. It's not only an auto unbind, but you know, they lose their ability to banish. So your Hexgorge or Skulls are safe because they don't have the wizard power even to try to do that. I don't know. The effect is super nice. It's just the extra effect thing. I'm just like, yeah. Presumably you keep Blood Tithe and have a free unbind, maybe. Maybe. I hope so. If anybody should keep their army points thing, it's obviously Blood Tithe. And I like a lot of what Blood Tithe is doing. And they finally got it into a place where you don't flush the toilet completely every time you spend something from them, but anyway, Jimmy 2K21, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Big agree you're concerned about auxiliary still and people just spamming 1 Broken War Scroll. Yep. Yeah, all the things that I'm like concerned about are things we don't have any or much information about yet. And most of the abilities that I started reading and I became maybe concerned, I kept reading and it was fine. Same with the charge roll thing from last week. I'm like, oh man, are we going to have to call our shot for the reroll before we roll? That would suck unless they just make it part of the declare. And then this week, it's part of the declare. Oh. Yeah, alright. Good work. You think you're going to have to flush ritual points? I think so too, otherwise you would just auto-pray. You'd spend 1 battle round accumulating ritual points. And then battle round 2, 3, 4, and 5, you just auto-succeed all of them. They have to cost, right? I don't know if they fully flush out or not, but they definitely have to be spent, right? The Chaos Dunk, the most powerful move in the game. Fucking reach out to the hoop. I gotta put some Quad City DJs in the opening. I gotta have a Bateman walk like he's walking from the bench to the hoop or something like that. Aside from the priority changes, you think 4 is looking incredibly strong? Yeah, true. I don't think the priority changes, to me, the priority changes were like a nothing burger. But it depends on how the people around you tend to play and if you went to events or not, or something like that. My perspective of the priority changes was, what do you do right now? You never take a double, unless it will literally win you the game. Okay. Now that they've changed priority, what do? You still never take a double unless it'll win you the game. Okay. So at the end of the day, it didn't do much. It did reinforced the way that you were already supposed to play. And in a way that casual players that don't like battle tactics, it won't affect them at all, which was weird. Damn, this shit's kind of nice. 4E looking like a game you actually want to play. You hope it lasts past launch, unlike 10E. Yeah, every time a 40k person comes in here, and I don't play 40k, so I don't know. Every time people from 40k come in, they're like, man, AOS, the indexes are going to suck because they sucked in 10th ed 40k. And then the books came out and this thing was nerfed and this thing was better and they did a bad job with this or that. I've only heard kind of horror stories from 10th edition 40k. But what I can say is a different team entirely, of entirely different people, managed by a different person, is on AOS. And so the structure of their systems is similar because it's the same company. But whether or not those systems are implemented well is in the hands of a different team. So there's my absolute hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, thanks for watching, chat. I appreciate it. Huge news day. I didn't even have to do any phony baloney content. We just got to talk about the implications of all this stuff. Thanks for sticking around for it. Do you like this format? Should I read these beforehand and come up with all my opinions and stuff? I don't know if these are like deep enough for that to be necessarily worth it. And plus I like the interactivity of chat being like, keep reading, or there was like 2 or 3 times on the stream somebody did an @Heywoah and they're like, look at this exact thing, you know, and it was a big deal. So I kind of like that. I'm not just asking this because the one Russian guy was mad. But if you get one mad person who's mad enough to type, what it means is there's probably a representation of some group that's mad, and only one person is mad enough to type, but they represent an amount or whatever. So yeah, I go on tangents and I don't rush and I just talk. And if you like that, you probably like my stuff. And if you don't, you probably don't like my stuff. Maybe that's just kind of how it is. And then in the videos, I can be really concise and snappy, but this is more, we're chilling. Let's learn together, class. Yeah. It's for having on in your painting and stuff and you got somebody talking about army men. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys Monday. Thanks for the subs and the bits and the primes. Appreciate. I may or may not raid somebody, so stick around for that if you give a shit. Some of you may not. Hey, alright. Do what you want. Thanks for watching.